Energy is a vital aspect of our everyday lives. If energy hadn't been harnessed somehow, you wouldn't be able to watch me give this speech today. The U.S. is using harmful energy sources, and this is why I believe we need to stop using these sources. Today in my speech, I will go over why coal and petroleum-based energy is hurting our Earth, why nuclear generators and nuclear energy is dangerous, and why obtaining these fossil fuels necessary for coal and petroleum-based energy harms our environment. Coal and petroleum-based energy, when coal and petroleum is burned, it emits CO2. This CO2 does not leave our Earth's atmosphere. Instead, it collects in our atmosphere and it insulates and warms our Earth. Our Earth is gradually getting warmer, and over time, it's going to become inhabitable because it's become so warm. This is also known as the greenhouse effect. On top of coal and petroleum-based energy, nuclear generators are dangerous and just as bad as coal and petroleum-based energy. Nuclear generators produce radioactive waste that is radioactive for thousands of years. On top of that, if catastrophe were to happen at a nuclear generator plant, the effects would be disastrous. A great example of this is the Chernobyl nuclear plant in Ukraine when it exploded in the 1980s. It rendered an entire city inhabitable for thousands of years, and we do not want this to happen to other cities on our planet. Just as nuclear generators are bad and coal and petroleum is bad, just transporting and obtaining these fossil fuels is bad for our environment. Oceanic oil rigs affect the oceanic wildlife and coral reefs and such. A great example of this is the Shell BP pipeline that ruptured and spewed out several hundred tons of oil, affecting all kinds of wildlife, and it took many years, and it's still an ongoing process to clean up this spill. It's also affecting land wildlife as well. Land wildlife and projects such as the Keystone Pipeline, it's going to hurt wildlife and wildlife resources. If that pipeline were to rupture, it would be just like the BP pipeline, and it would be disastrous to wildlife, and it would take years to clean up. In conclusion, we only have one Earth. We need to start taking care of this Earth if we plan to live here much longer. I have covered why coal and petroleum-based energy is harmful. It causes greenhouse effects. I have covered why nuclear generators are harmful and are posed for catastrophe, and why obtaining these fossil fuels through oceanic and land resources is harmful to our Earth. This is my note card. Here's my audience. Thank you for listening.